We get very stressed, very overwhelmed. We're sped up, running around like crazy people. And our husbands get the worst aspects of us. And what happens is we don't recognize that we're creating this for ourselves. So we go into that place of being a martyr. We go into that place of being a victim. And like always, we blame our husbands at how we think they're not there to support us and to help us and share the burden. When the truth is, how we act in our crazy making around the holidays is that we make it incredibly stressful for our husbands. We push them away with our very low emotional intelligence during the holidays, and we're no fun to be around. We suck all the fun out of the holidays. So I want to go over now, what do I have here? 7 expectations that as women we put on ourselves and then we put on others around us during the holidays. And this is going to lead to some meaningful conversation about the reality of the holidays, that for most people, this is a challenging time of year. It shakes a lot of people up. It pushes us into what I call a forced reflection, that we're often faced with different losses we've had in our lives around the holidays, people that we love that are no longer here and with us. Um, it pushes us into reflecting on where we're not in our lives that we thought we would be by now. It stirs up a lot of past family hurt around the holidays. So it's a challenging time. And these expectations make it so much harder than it already is for a lot of people. So, 7 expectations that we have around the holidays that create this holiday stress and holiday overwhelm. Number 1, that we're supposed to be happy and joyful. That's the first expectation. We're supposed to be happy and joyful, and that everyone else, we put the expectations on everyone else that they're supposed to be happy and joyful this time of year. And the truth is, if we slow down, we can maybe see what we're actually feeling and be true to where we're at and not need to put on a forced facade of being happy and joyful. I have found in many years of working with hundreds of women that even though we put on this holiday self and this holiday facade and go into super holiday mode because of what we've made it, because we've made it so overwhelming, many of us don't enjoy the holidays. That is not something we look forward to, that we want to speed through, race through, get them over with so we can take a breath and slow down. And that's how we really feel underneath it. And then we have to wear this facade of being happy and joyful that is exhausting. So the second expectation that we go into with the holidays and supersizing the holidays and getting very stressed is that everyone has to have fun and have a good time. Everyone has to have fun and have a good time and be in a good mood and like everything that's happening. And this is where this fantasy of the holidays comes in, that if you spend time around the holidays with your family and extended family and big gatherings, the truth is that there's a lot of history there, a lot of history of hurt feelings, of different dynamics between different people. And the truth is, it's very rare that families actually get along. A lot of families put on the face of getting along, but underneath that, again, there's a lot of hurt. There's a lot of dynamics. There's a lot of expectation, and a lot of families don't get along. That's a reality of family. And yet we think that we're supposed to just put everything aside and that everybody's going to have a great time and have fun, when oftentimes that's not the case, right? Even when that's the intention and well intended for it to be that, it's often not the case. There can be some pretty hefty family fights and arguments during the holidays. If you watch any holiday movie, we see that. Um, so the third expectation that we have around the holidays that sets us up for a lot more stress and overwhelm than is necessary is that everyone is supposed to get along. Number three, everyone is supposed to get along. So this is it ties into the last one. The reality is that no, not everyone gets along in our families. And the more that we can actually accept that reality and stop putting the expectation on it that, hopefully dad doesn't make this joke this year, or hopefully mom and dad don't get in this into this argument this year, or I hope my sister or my brother doesn't do what they always do. And we put these expectations that the people in our family aren't supposed to be who they are on Christmas or around the holidays. And the truth is, they're not ever changing. That's who they are. And when we can accept that reality, that's where we take the pressure and the overwhelm off to know, okay, mom and dad are likely going to get into this fight, or I'm likely my brother and I are going to butt heads about this one thing. We always do. And when we can accept that, that's where we can start to eliminate some of our emotional turmoil around the holidays. So there's something I learned a while ago from my mentor that has always stuck with me, that if you imagine this hand is our reality, just the reality of the way things are, and this hand is our expectations. The further away these two things are from each other, the greater our emotional turmoil and our emotional pain. So if you're expecting that the reality is your family doesn't get along, and the expectation is everyone needs to get along this year, those two things are far apart. The greater emotional pain and emotional turmoil you are going to be in. But when you can close that gap and be grounded in reality to know, oh no, I don't get along with my brother. I don't get along with my dad. So how can I manage myself to make it the best it can be? The more grounded you are in that reality, the less stress, the less emotional turmoil, because you can deal with things for what they actually are versus hoping and praying that they're somehow going to be different when they haven't been different in 15, 25, 30 years. So that's the third expectation. Everyone is supposed to get along. Number four, this is the big one. This is why we turn into the holiday monster as women. More is better. That's the fourth expectation. More is better. More time with people. Have the family come for 2 weeks. More time, more food, more booze, more presents, more decorations, more people, more parties, more celebrations. And we need all the things. More is not better. We're going to talk about part of the solution is simplifying. But we start to, I know myself, it's like, well, I've got to make the cookies my mom used to make, and then I've got to make the cake that my grandma used to make, and I've got to make sure that I have this too. And we make it so big, and that's where we stress ourselves out because we don't need all those things. The fifth expectation that we have that creates all this overwhelm, recreating childhood experiences. We put this stress and pressure on ourselves around the holidays that we need to recreate our childhood experiences. That's number five. And that they should be and feel exactly like they did when we were young. We do that because we're trying to fill an emptiness within ourselves. That's part of why the holidays are so hard, is that it exposes the emptiness that we have in ourselves that we haven't learned to fill just in who we are. So we grab for external experiences, like recreating holiday traditions we had when we were young and feeling like we need to do every single one of them because we're trying to fill that void and emptiness that gets really exposed during the holidays. And then more presents and more celebrations and more because we're trying to fill that emptiness within ourselves. The sixth expectation that we have, that we feel obligated or that we should do around the holidays that creates our stress and overwhelm, is that we need to be everyone's favorite. favorite daughter-in-law, favorite daughter, favorite sister, favorite mom, favorite friend, favorite mom on the PTA. And that pushes us into overdrive doing all these things to try to get people to like us. And we put this pressure on ourselves that we need to be perfect and that the dinner needs to be perfect and the gathering needs to be perfect and the kids need to be perfect and everybody needs to be on their best behavior. That we have to have it all together around the holidays when the truth is many times we do not. And then the seventh expectation that kind of fits into number 6 is that we have to be on. We have to be on our game. That we need the right outfit, the right attitude, say the right things. And then as women, we put this expectation onto our husbands, onto our kids. And it's like, don't say that thing you always say around my family. And good men are used to getting the evil eye or the kick under the table when they act out of line, out of the perception and facade that their wives want to project to their families. And then the kids are supposed to behave and be on their best behavior and not act out and don't let anyone see the issues and the problems that we have behind closed doors. We need to be on and be on our game. So those are the 7 expectations that I find most common that I have had in myself, and have worked with women over, like I said, over almost the last decade.